Hi, everybody, it's Weird Wink Wilkinson laughing and scratching at you. How's everybody doing today? I got a little bit of a stiff neck. Let me just fix this up. Oh, that feels a lot better. Well, I got a great show for you today with some wonderful weird stuff. I feel so very weird.
There are some things in this world that go way beyond human understanding. Things that cannot be explained, things that most people don't want to know about. That is where we come in.
No human being would stack books like this.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. I'm all out of bubblegum.
Well, it looks like you're the one who needs to be taught a lesson, pal. Class is paying 101. The instructor's Casey Jones.
Look, I don't want to fight you.
Well, tough rocks, pal.
Do you want some coffee, Mr. Tully?
Do I?
Yes, have some.
Yes, have some.
It's a cup of coffee in the big time, yeah. Cup of coffee in the big time.
Hey, what do you say we both be independent together, huh?
I guess one person can make a difference. Enough said.
We have the tools, we have talent.
It's Miller time.
Luminous being so we, not this fruit matter.
Empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow, or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
Hey, these aren't my rules. Come to think of it, I don't have any rules.
Well, that's great. Either I have a monster in my kitchen or I'm completely crazy.
I don't think you're crazy.
You know something? Maybe I am insane. Maybe I am insane.
Pizza dude's got 30 seconds.
Rise to the top, oh yeah.
That's the nicest thing a dog can say about anybody.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Enough, I get the point.
You know what you need? You need a Brazilian plastic surgeon.
I've got one that can see.
Sometimes happens, someone has to deal with it, and who are you gonna call?
It's showtime.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to Comic Book Radio. This is episode 312. I'm your host, Peter Cimetti. Good to see you guys. Tonight, my guest is Mark Brando. We're going to be talking about his latest, or actually, I don't know, latest, first? How do I say? As far as I know, it's his first comic about Edgar Allan Poe's short stories. It's called Besprinkled with Scarlet, or Besprinkled by Scarlet. You know, it'd help if I knew what it was. Man, oh man. You don't do this for 2 weeks and then all of a sudden you forget. So before I get started, I do want to say that all of the alternate remastered Wave 2 books have shipped out, and we do have very, very small quantities still available on the site. You can go to alternatecomics.com/remaster to check that out. I would say about 90% of it came out in a Wednesday. 22 and 23 orders have shipped out, with the rest of those shipping out this week. So by like Saturday, everything will be shipped out for that, with the exception of comps. The comps on the books are going to ship out over the next 2 weeks to the creators that made the stories. And then we have Unit 44, number 11 and 12, the last 2 issues of the series. Those are going to be available for pre-order on Friday, the 12th. And what can I say? It's been a long run for that series, but at least we get to have a nice, proper send-off for it. as opposed to just not having one of those, and that's unfortunate when that occurs. So 11 and 12, the last two issues of Unit 44, available for pre-order on Friday the 12th, and we'll be shipping out starting January 29th. So we'll be having a bit of a live stream for that on Friday, just to kind of talk more about it and show some of the pages and all that stuff. But yeah, there's a bunch of things going on. But tonight we've got a guest. So we got Mark Brando on the show. And before I bring him on, let me say hello to you guys in the chat. Since this is the first show of December, I've gifted memberships. So if you're one of the 10 people to receive one of those, congrats. You're welcome. I don't get to pick and choose, so it's random. But I hope you enjoy it. If you don't have a gifted membership, you want to get a membership, 99 cents a month. You know, it helps support the channel, and you get to use emojis, and people like to use emojis in the chat. So, you know, there you go. We have, let's see, from what I can see anyway, because Restream cuts off a bunch of the people who comment before we start the show. So if you commented before we started, I can't see you. We got Kevin here saying hey to Dr. Mask, or vice versa, I should say. Shotgun Scream, that's Spicer McLeroy, says, evening, fellow warriors. Have a great show tonight, brother Pete. What's up, Spicer? Good to see you. Corey Landis is here as well, says, I feel summoned. Are you an Edgar Allan Poe fan? Is that what that is? Jeff Kimbler is here. Says, good evening, chat. Good evening, Jeff Kimbler. We also got, let's see, Corey Landis saying, I'm going to start dressing like Casey Jones. Any particular reason for that? That would have been a good outfit a few years back, you know, during the pandemic. I almost thought of getting a Casey Jones mask and just wearing that in public and being like, what? I've got a mask. I'm fine. Let's see. Darker Half says, any word on the Blood Realm King Cryptid crossover? So Blood Moon is currently in production and development, and we're hitting a ton of delays and snags on that. So I'm guessing it's probably a conservative estimate sometime in spring 2026, but it's moving along. We're about, I'd say, 30% there. So it's coming out really nice, but it's taking definitely more time than we had originally anticipated. Bronze Age Caveman, what's up, Bronze Age? Hope you're doing good. We got Loud Tour here as well. What's up? And let's see. Corey says, my wife thinks he's attractive. Casey Jones. All right. I could see that. You know, for some ladies out there, you do what you got to do. All right. Without further ado, let's bring him on. The man of the hour. We got Mr. Mark Brando. What's up, Mark?
Pete, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I spoke early. This is a little surreal because I think you're the first show I've been on where they actually used my real name, you know? Like I said, you can call me Mark or whatever, you know, it's fine. But they just go with the Dr. Mask thing and, you know.
Yeah,
whatever.
the only reason I did it, like I said, is because I saw you had it listed up in the campaign.
And I tell people it's out there, you know. It's not like you can hide it, you know.
I mean, I know some people do use like an alias or whatever when they have campaigns and stuff like that. I always kind of find it a little weird, which is, I mean, you know, people use pseudonyms professionally as well, but it's different when it's something that kind of borders on the goofy. You know, it's one thing to have a pseudonym that kind of sounds like a real name. It's another thing when your pseudonym is like Toilet Bowl Man, you know, and that's your handle. And you're like, yeah, I'll put that on the book. Why not?
Yeah. And the 100 people that actually know that will be right behind it. Right.
Yeah. I just, and then you get the book and like the YouTube name or the Twitter name is on the book as the author. And it just kind of, I don't know, it feels a little weird to me. Like I said, I know people do it and some people have had success still regardless doing it and not putting their real name on the book. But I figure yours was there on the campaign. I might as well, you know,
100%.
Yeah. Your parents picked out a lovely name for you and might as well just show it off.
Exactly. And I I share my middle name is Alan as well, so but it's spelled differently.
Oh, okay. Is it with
So,
an E?
yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. But yeah, I do have something I wanted to share this with you. I always look forward to your intro, but this is something I have.
Very nice. Oh,
Um,
let me see. You're mirrored. Let me unmirror you. I don't know why it does that on Restream.
Yeah, it's weird. So now I know I've been on Restream before because I've had that happen. But yeah, so the top autograph from Macho Man was one that I got in passing, and the one on the bottom that says to Mark Macho Man. My mom actually got that for me.
There you go.
At
You
a-
know, and hell, if your name's good enough for Macho Man, it's good enough for the
That's
rest of
right.
us.
That's right. But yeah, we used to spend a lot of time when I was growing up at the WWE events, and it was WWF back then. But yeah, and sometimes she wouldn't go into the matches. She would just hang out outside. At the time, I thought it was because she liked to meet the wrestlers, but it might have been because maybe she didn't have enough money for all the tickets. So so
Th-
she just kind of sacrificed or whatever. But she did get
That's
me
awesome.
some cool autographs. We got a lot of our own too. Back then, you could just hang out before the show, and the guys would come in, and some of them would sign, and some of them wouldn't. But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Man, any stories? Like, was he like in any interaction with your mom?
He was very nice with my mom. The times I saw him close up, he was very intense. And I don't know if it was character or what, but he was very protective of Elizabeth, you know. Um, but yeah, yeah.
That's
But
awesome,
yeah, he
though,
was
man.
always one of my favorites though.
What's
Him,
really cool about Macho Man, for those that don't know, is that he's got a baseball card. He might have a couple, but I know he has at least one. Because he played, I believe, for the Cardinals for a little bit.
yep,
Randy Poffo.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the story. I think I think he got injured and he couldn't play anymore or something. He couldn't play baseball anymore, and he came home. He drove whatever the long distance is from wherever he was home, and he got out and he took his baseball bats and he smashed them on the tree. And he said,
Not
"My
too
dreams
injured
are
for that.
yeah, no, my dreams are destroyed," or something like that. He said, you know. So, but look,
I wonder what the injury was. I wonder if it was like like he couldn't either. I guess he had use of his arms, of course, but maybe it was like a running thing. Maybe it was that kind of a deal or something.
yeah,
Because it's crazy when I hear about stories like that. Because so often you hear about, well, they were a professional in whatever major sport, and then they got injured, and then they went to professional wrestling, which
is littered with injuries.
yeah, and they don't care. They're like, oh yeah, you're on your last legs, whatever, go out there and do something.
Put some tape on it.
But yeah, it's always kind of funny to me when it's like, okay, but not injured enough for what seems like a far more intense activity.
Yeah, yeah. And then obviously you're a big fan of Roddy. You knew Roddy. I never got to meet Roddy either, but I have a memory of him. We were at I think it was a Royal Rumble. It was like an early Royal Rumble or something, but we were at a show and we had gotten from the local video store a big cutout from his Roddy Piper's Greatest Hits
Oh man,
VHS that he put out. And we
that's
took
right.
that with us to the Royal Rumble event we went to.
Wow,
So we had this big giant cutout of Roddy next to our seats and stuff, and we were poking it up in the air and
that's
stuff.
awesome. Around what year was that Royal Rumble?
It's got to be. I want. This is early mid '80s.
Okay, wow,
So
that's like, man, that's a good era.
yeah, I started the first show I saw. I can't remember all the people that were on it, but it was like the Wild Samoans, Rocky Johnson, Tony Atlas, Ivan Putski. So that was in the '70s
Yeah.
or the
Oh
late
yeah.
'70s or whatever. Yeah, but yeah, it was a great time. and
Wow,
it was
man.
affordable at the time too. So
Jeez. Yeah, it's crazy that once stuff starts taking off, and you know, obviously it's more popular, and then the prices of things go up, but it's always a shame when you kind of lose that accessibility, I guess, in some way.
yep,
And then things just seem to get more and more expensive. Like there's a lot of stuff that's going on right now, it seems like, and it's across the board where the competition for stuff seems like who could have the highest price. And if like almost you get like a side eye if you have something affordable. And I know this from personal experience of people being like, that comic's like $2.
yeah, I know.
I don't know. It's like, but if it was like 20, they'd be like, oh, it must be really good.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I hear like, you know, I've been on this indie comic journey for a few years, and I go around and I talk to people, because I would just talk to comic creators, right? Gone to more of independent, guys that are selling their own books and stuff. And the thing that has surprised me, I've heard it over and over, is like, yeah, once you get enough stuff, do a hardcover because man, things sell like hotcakes. It's like you can't sell your $7 floppy, but you can sell a $25 hardcover. I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. And I find that, I mean, there's crossover between the audiences, but they seem to be two separate kinds of audiences.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it's interesting because I'm a deal hunter, so I like getting stuff
Yep.
for as cheap as I possibly can,
I hear you.
as long as it's still good. But like, yeah, I don't know. It's like I don't know if it's like a Starbucks thing that they start that where, everyone else has like a 99-cent cup of coffee at the time and they're trying to undercut each other. And then Starbucks is like, here's a $6 cup of coffee. And everything starts becoming like a status symbol.
Right, right.
You walk around with your 99-cent cup of coffee poured into a Starbucks cup just so you look like you're doing better than everyone else.
Yeah. Yeah, you get that Stewart's cup of coffee, then and the people that aren't on the East Coast won't even know what that is, but if you have that, then forget it, you're just not cool. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's so strange, and it just I think there's something to be said where there is a correlation between the quality and the cost of something, but not
Mhm.
for everything, and
No.
and if anything, probably not for most things. But when it comes to certain things, I find that it's gotten really strange, where people almost view it as it must not be any good if it's affordable, if it's cheap,
Right.
whatever it might be. I'd rather pay for that more expensive thing.
Yeah, I could tell you firsthand from my experimentation with buying different kinds of coffee. Um, I mean, any kind of like small, like online coffee place, the prices are about the same for a bag of coffee. And I've had some that's been really good, and I've had some that's really terrible. So my
Yeah,
favorite is
yeah.
actually up there in New Hampshire, the White Mountain Coffee, I think it is.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I always get
Um,
it. I always get it from there.
White Mountain Coffee's good, but it's a popular brand too. Green Mountain, which is a Vermont brand, and you see that
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah, I've
You
had
know,
that, and I wasn't too keen on that, but
yeah.
the
No, they got all kinds of.
White Mountain makes pumpkin spice all year round if you like that. So
Oh yeah, yeah, that's true. Man, oh man. So if you came here to watch a talk about Edgar Allan Poe, you're out of luck. Uh, we'll talk about everything but that.
that's right.
So
That's right. We'll
hopefully you
get there
enjoy it.
eventually. This way. You know. I was,
S
I just one more thing. I don't know if you remember the skit from it was WCW Chris Jericho, and Dean Malenko was the man of 1,000 moves, and so Chris Jericho said, "I'm the man of 1,001 moves." And so in one show he gets up there. He said, "I'm the man of 1,001 moves. I'm going to read off all the moves that I can do," and he rolls this big long scroll out and he starts reading them. And then they go to break, and he comes back, and he's still reading them, you know. And that's what I was like. These are the things I want to talk to Pete about. You know, this big long story.
Well, hey, you know, you're the guest. Whatever you want to talk about, I'm here for it.
Beautiful.
I'll try to get us back a bit to what I think what you might be here to actually talk about. But anything else that you want to talk about is fine with me.
Yeah, I can ramble. So
I do want to know though, is this your first comic?
it is. Yep.
Okay, so it's your first comic. All right.
Yep.
So and on
You
this
don't count the
comic,
one I stapled together when I was like, 9. You know.
I mean, we could count that, I guess. Do you what do you do on the comic? Are you doing any art? Are you doing the writing? I know that you're adapting a lot of the Poe stuff.
Yeah. Well,
But how
so
are you doing that?
yeah, it's not. So I can't really call it an adaptation because it's not. It's the best I could come up with is to call it a illustrated narrative, and um, it's basically uh, an excerpt from a Poe story and then an illustration by a different artist through the whole book. And then it's bookended by Dr. Mask, who's the narrator and host, kind of like the Crypt Keeper or the Mysterious Traveler. And he introduces the book, and he, you know, is in the epilogue, and then he is actually in every piece of art throughout the book as well.
Okay.
And I did the writing for the 2 pages, which is obviously not very much. And then I just kind of coordinated and worked with the artist to get, what the final product is. So I was more like a project manager with some writing.
So is it a more like an illustrated book, or is it in comic format still?
It's a comic, it's a floppy comic. But yeah, it's more like an illustrated book. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Yeah.
It
'Cause
does have, like I said, it has an intro and an epilogue that's comic, that's sequential. So
Yeah,
I
I
don't
wasn't
know. I
sure
don't
how
know if
you were
anybody's
doing it.
yeah. I don't know if anybody's done anything like this or not. I would never even think to call myself original. So
I
but
hate to say it, but someone probably has.
I'm sure they have. Yeah.
Because they've
Yeah.
everything's been
Yeah.
done.
I would never assume I did anything original. So
Did you ever read Marvel put it out a while ago? It's called Haunt of Horror. Edgar Allan Poe's Haunt of Horror.
I did, yes. Yes, it's been a while. But
Yeah.
Richard Corbin did it. It's funny you
Yeah.
mentioned that because I just picked up the H.P. Lovecraft series he did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
didn't even know it existed. But yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And that was like a comic adaptation of everything.
Yep. Yep.
So where it's an illustrated book slash it's got some comic type stuff in it, uh what made you go down more the path of making it comic size, comic formatted, that kind of a thing, as opposed to just making a straight up kind of book at a different kind of size, maybe?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it was just I love comics, I've loved them. I've had comics around me since I was probably 7 years old, So
Mhm.
I've had, and just like anything you go in and out of it, but it's always been something I've loved. And at one point during the process, I started looking at the artwork. I started looking at what I was doing, and I'm like, man, this would be so good as magazine size, in that you get the bigger art, you get,
Yeah, yeah.
more of the text, and so I looked into that, and it just seemed, because of the way all the artwork was mostly done at that point. It was all formatted for comic size and shape, and without getting wonky with, and you probably know all this, but you end up with like weird borders and stuff. And
Yeah.
I mean, we have a little bit of that as it is, because some guys did their work in a little bit different, size or whatever. Unfortunately, I didn't know what I didn't know when I started, and didn't say, hey, do it at this size. So some of them are a little bit different, um, but yeah, so yeah, I just ended up sticking with the comic size.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to do that, especially where you've got that comic style narration, that narrator there,
Right. Yep.
you know, and then you're putting it through as an illustrated book. So that's kind of cool. So you could have done anything you wanted for this comic. Why Edgar Allan Poe?
Well, it's been he's been an author that I've loved my whole life. You know, probably since junior high. Maybe before that, I can't remember exactly when I read the first stuff, but it was, you know, I had this. I wish I had grabbed it, but I keep talking about this on streams and I never have it handy, but I have this. It's called Portable Poe, and it has like a whole bunch of Poe stuff in it, and I just had that all the time, you know, and I would go back and reread stories and if I was going anywhere, you know, like on a trip or something, I'd throw it in my bag. I'm like, there's always something there that I want to read. So, um, and I thought too that like being my first, you know, foray into comics or illustrated, whatever you want to call it, um, I would like to do, you know, I would like to anchor myself to you know, an author that I know is good. So, you know, and there's some other reasons too that I've talked about. One is the fact that my son, who's now a senior in high school, has not read any Poe in school. You know, so
Wow,
I
that's
feel
weird.
like, yeah, even people, even like people that I've talked to, streams that I've been on with people that do know Poe, there's a lot of stuff there's a lot of stories they don't know, you know, let,
Mhm.
you know, people know like, you know, the greatest hits kind of thing, but um so I feel, you know, part of it now is like, well, maybe this will help to get his name out there some more and make people take notice, you know, kind of thing. So, and this is be a good like starting place for that.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Do you know a lot about Poe? Like his
I know,
life?
yeah, I know quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you find is probably the most fascinating thing to you, the most interesting thing about his
The
life?
most, I mean, his death is probably his most interesting
Well,
thing.
yeah.
um, I don't know. I mean, it's, I have one of the big things I think about all the time is the fact that, um, and it's just like anything with history, but depending on who reports on the history is the history you get, you know. Um, but one of the things, even like if you look at like this shirt, this is his signature, right? Edgar A. Poe, and everybody knows him as Edgar Allan Poe, but he didn't want to be known as Edgar Allan Poe. That's why he signed his name the way he did, because Allen was his like kind of I don't think he actually adopted him, but he was kind of like his foster dad,
Hmm.
um, who ended up cutting him out of all the will and everything, and they just did not get along at all. And so he didn't want to be associated with Allen. But then when he died, the guy that published kind of his, you know, like his, I don't know if it was his obituary or just reported or whatever, was one of his chief rivals. And that's the way he reported it, was Edgar Allan Poe. It was almost like he stuck it to him, you know, like in death, you know, yeah, Edgar Allan Poe, you know.
Nothing
So
like that happens today. Everyone gets along in the creative fields today.
yeah. Well, I mean, they were big rivals too because you know, they were both critics, and Poe prided himself on telling the truth, and this guy was like, throw me a few bucks, I'll give you a good review, you know, kind of thing. So
Nothing like that happens today either.
no, things never change, right?
No, they really don't.
Yeah. I
Oh
mean,
boy.
yeah, but yeah, there's definitely a lot of things, you know, that I think about as far as his life and like I said, his death. His death is one thing that I think about a lot when I think about Poe, you know. But
It's horrible. For those that don't know, did you want to, instead of us dancing
sure,
around it, did you want to
yeah.
mention it?
Well, I don't know if anybody. Well, if you've seen that movie, what was it called? The Raven, was it with John Cusack?
It's probably
anybody
better
remember that?
people didn't see that movie.
It does go into that, but basically they found Poe on a bench wearing somebody else's clothes, and on the brink of death, and it looked like he was like he had drank a lot of alcohol, and they took him to a so they have no idea what happened to this guy. They took him to a doctor. Doctor was taken care of. The doctor seems in retrospect kind of shady because he kind of didn't let other people see him, and he kind of would say one thing about his death and then backtrack on it, and there was no real autopsy done, and then so there's a lot of fishy things, and nobody really seems to know what happened. They have theories. One of the latest ones was a pretty convincing one that he had been a victim of cooping, which is a something they used to do. It was not quite this brutal. I'm sure they still do this sort of stuff today too, but it's not quite as brutal. But they would steal people off the street, and I think mostly men, but they would, because women wouldn't have the right to vote, right? Yeah. So they would take men off the street and basically imprison them, feed them tons of alcohol, and have them go from polling place to polling place, voting for whatever candidate they wanted them to vote for. And they would just keep them in prison for weeks. And some of them would just die. But so they think that's what happened to him. He was kidnapped by these people because he had recently, like, before this happened, had stopped drinking, and like I don't know whether to believe that stuff too, because a lot of people are like, oh, he drank all the time and everything, and then I'm seeing stories that are like he didn't drink much. If he did drink a little bit, it really affected him, kind of thing, So
Yeah, wasn't one of the theories or one of the stories that he had rabies, that he died of hydrophobia?
Yeah, that was one of them, but I think they've kind of dismissed that for some reason that I can't remember. I just saw something like the other day about that where there was just not there. I can't remember exactly what it was, but there was something where like it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a just weird circumstances of the whole thing. And like you said before, not just about his life, but obviously about his death too. It really depends on who was reporting it. And he wasn't really a big to do at the time. So it's not like something that would have been paid close attention to.
Yeah, I think he was famous in certain circles, especially after The Raven came out, um but he was like in a not I don't know. He lived in like three major cities, but he would have been. It's not like they had the internet and people knew what everybody looked like. It was just like it's just some dude and whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So with the adaptation that you got a lot of people doing the art. How many different artists are involved?
Oh, that's a good question. It's a huge team of people in general, but looks like 15, 16
artists?
technically.
16 artists?
16 technically, not counting the covers. That would be 18 for the covers.
Wow. How many
Yeah.
covers do you got? Did you want to share the campaign we could put up
Sure.
on the screen?
Yep. Let me go. All right. You see that?
All right. Yep. I see it there. Okay.
All right. I don't know. You want to watch the trailer or save it for the end?
It's up to you. Are you proud of it?
Oh, I think it's pretty good.
Okay.
Pedro Ang made it.
All right. Good. So yeah, let's see it.
Okay.
Very nice. I like the typing
Yeah.
sound effect.
Yeah, after I wrote up the script for it and what I wanted, he's like, "Is there a narration on this?" I'm like, "That would have been great." And so, yeah, we went with the typing. So,
Yeah, it's nice.
but anyway, yeah. So that's that. But basically, it's what I talked about as far as. Let me know if I get too far in the weeds and stuff with anything, but so like Dr. Mask is that's the other thing. The book is in black, white, and red. So the main cover, this is the main cover that was done by Ricardo Jaime. He actually did an interior piece that I loved, so I'm like, you need to do a cover too. So yeah, to me, I love it. It's amazing. This is the the cover B, the homage cover to Midnight #1 from 1957. This cover, I just always look at it and think about Poe, because there's the black cat, there's a clock, there's this this figure here kind of mirrors Dr. Mask as well. So that's why I went with that one. But that was done by Greg Murray, and Dan Kemp did the colors on it. And I didn't count that when I did my count. I forgot to count the colorists.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think most people do.
Yeah, 2 different colorists too. So Dan Kemp and Dave Kemp. So Dave Kemp did all the interior colors.
Are they related?
Yeah, they're brothers.
Okay.
Yeah.
You never know.
No, you don't. So this is the glorious newsprint version. And the only thing different is just the logo on the cover, but it will be newsprint. It's going to be limited to 150 copies. And this is what the interior. This is more of what the interior is going to look like. This one's by Preston Azevedo. But yeah, you'll have the text on the one page and the illustration on the other. And here's another interior here. This is Jim Whitting. He actually helped me a lot in this book. He does his own comic, and he also has done a lot of stuff for Fantagraphics. He's done a lot with like restoring old, like doing reprints of stuff, but like cleaning up files and and doing the graphic design and stuff on collections of stuff. I wish I had one handy. I'd show you, but a lot of cool stuff. A lot of horror stuff. So
nice.
But like I said, Dr. Masks is on every piece. So here it's pretty obvious. Some it's not very obvious. Christian Rossi did the sequential pages. Keith Gleason did the artwork, or the lettering, and like I said before, Dave Kemp did the colors. And that was the one thing too, is that like I kept looking at this book and I'm like, that there's so many guys that either have worked with UP, worked at Alterna, have or still do work at Alterna, and just a lot of it says a lot about you and your company, because there's just so many great creators.
Yeah, it says a lot. What that may be, I'll leave others open to interpretation.
Okay. So this is a breakdown on who worked on it. I don't know who have the Dr. Mask design and the logos were done by Luke Stone him and I worked on those together. There's also another Dr. Mask logo that's been done that's not on this campaign by Jim Whitting. And this is a breakdown on who worked on what. So Robert Geronimo, who we all know and love, did this. And once I get done sharing my screen, I can show you. I'm going to show everybody what this actually looks like tonight.
Oh, cool.
Alexei Gorbu, who I saw him he's just one of the artists saw on X, and he does a lot of fantasy stuff. And I thought, if he can do fantasy stuff, I bet you he can do like a time, like doing people from the 1800s, and and he did an awesome job on it. Jim Wooding we talked about, Preston we talked about, Peter Gilmore from Jack the Ripper, Vampire Hunter, among other things. He's got a couple of books now. I think he has 2 books. I think he might have 3 books on Fun My Comic that has his artwork in it right now.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he's a busy boy.
Yeah. It's just funny that it all coming out at the same time.
Pit and the Pendulum and Cask of Amontillado are like 2 of my favorites.
Yeah, the only 2 I knew were definitely going to be in this when I started was Cask of Amontillado and The Mask of the Red Death. I mean, I like so many of them, but when I went through this process, I reach out to an artist. I'm like, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm doing a Poe book. Is there any particular story you're interested in or whatever? And some guys would be like, oh, I really like this one. Like, I think like Peter Gilmore picked The Pit and the Pendulum.
I could see that. That. He totally would.
Others were like, oh, like Kevin Conrad, the Premature Burial. He took like months to figure out exactly what he wanted to do, and at the time it didn't matter because nobody knew this was going on, so I didn't really have a deadline per se, but he finally decided on the Premature Burial, and he did an amazing job on it.
How long were you developing this?
So Rob was actually the first illustrator. This is how crazy I am. I hadn't written anything. I knew basically what I wanted, but the first thing I did was reach out to artists to start drawing stuff. And Rob was the first one. And I reached out to him, and I'm like, if you could pick one, what would you like to do? And he's like, I'd like to do the Raven. And I'm like, well, I'm not putting the Raven in this one. And he's like, so I was like, let me think about it, and I'll get back to you, And then
you don't have the Raven in this one?
No.
Ooh,
no.
Bold choice. You have Telltale Heart?
I do not. Nope.
Oh man.
I got 3 volumes planned, so this is only volume 1.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's a bit different. Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, like this is a poem, The Lake. A lot of people have never heard of that, So there's stuff mixed in here. Even this, Never Bet the Devil Your Head. A lot of people have never heard of that story, So I wanted a kind of a mix of, ones that people are like, oh yeah, I know that one, and ones that are like, I don't have any clue, So, but anyway, depending on the artist, I just kind of worked with them. Some of them I had specific things I wanted. Some of them, really had no, didn't know a lot about Poe, thought it was cool, but didn't really, didn't have a preference. So, but anyway, we got Brian Bow, Fabrizio Aiello, Richie Acosta. He worked for Marvel at one point. I just ran into him at a con one day, and he was showing his stuff to another guy, and I was like, oh, let me check that out. And so we got together, and he ended up doing this, but he only does pencils. He has it digitally inked, so Daniel Alvarez did the inks on it. And then I had Elliot Rodriguez do this like promo piece for me. And then once I saw it, Dan Kemp did the cover, or I'm sorry, Dave Kemp did the colors on this one. And once I saw it, I'm like, well, I got to use that in the book too. So that's the back cover.
Nice.
And Christian did the logo for Fund My Comic with Dr. Mask, because I see a lot of people do that. And I'm like, that's really cool. And then once I saw it, I'm like, can you do one with like Kim Reedon and Edgar Allan Poe book? He's like, oh, sure. So that's where that came from. Christian's amazing.
Oh yeah, he's great.
And then we got lots of original art up here. You can see, you can buy this piece here, the pencils for Mask of the Red Death, Preston's piece. That one's available still. You can get a sketch card from Kevin Conrad. These are just kind of examples of what they would look like for $35. And then Jim Whitting, he did a bunch up like ahead of time. So those are all down here individually. So if you like one, you would just pick it. And there is actually a coupon code for these to reduce the shipping on them. But unfortunately, you can't use more than one coupon code on on Fund My Comics. So this is a promo card that you got if you signed up early. There's a better look at that. So the first stretch goal, and because this isn't like the complete stories, I wanted to at least provide that for people, even though you can go out to the internet and find it yourself if you wanted to. But I mean, you shouldn't have to. So everybody will get a digital copy of this book, which will basically be the full stories and poems with some of the artwork from the comic in black and white. So, and just between you and me, everybody's going to get that, even if we don't get to the stretch goal, because I just think it's necessary. So
everyone's going to get the digital version.
It's like a digital paperback of all the stories. So, and it'll just have bits of the art in it. And then this is the next stretch go, which is the full color print of the lake. And Jim Whitting did the colors on that as well. And then the sticker, if we get beyond that. And then there's a retailer's bundle. So I'll just go back quick and look at there's just like a couple of bundles. There's the all-in-one bundle, which you'll save almost $9. There is the 3-book bundle. And then, yeah, that's it for the bundles. But I do have that coupon code. So if anybody wants to, if anybody wants to back it tonight, there's a coupon code. It's NEWSP. So it's for newsprint, NEWSP. So any of the ones that has the newsprint copy in it, you'll save $4 off of.
Okay, so you save $4 off the newsprint copy with code NEWSP. Does that have to be all caps? Does that matter?
I don't think it matters.
Okay,
it's all caps, so just do that. But
Wayne said he just backed finally. There you go.
Oh,
thanks,
Wayne. Yeah, so the newsprint copy, the three different covers bundle, and the all-in bundle, you'll save $4. And if you get the all-in, you're basically getting the newsprint copy for free, because you're already saving almost $9 and you're going to save another $4. So,
oh, that's pretty great. And that gets you everything that's on the campaign?
That gets you 3 books, t-shirt, and the button.
Nice.
Yep.
So you have 3 of these books planned?
Yep. Yep. The next one is going to be called A Dream Within a Dream. And it's going to have, it's going to focus more on the fantasy stuff, which part of me thinks of The Raven as more like fantasy than horror. There's some horror elements to it for sure, but I mean, he's listening to a talking bird. Well, he thinks it's talking to him. I don't know. I never really think about interpretations because I think it should be opened up to people's own interpretations. So,
You ever hear those birds talk? It's creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah. They actually they'll talk like parrots. The way that they can do whatever they do, mimic or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I can only imagine that was the inspiration with that bird doing that. He must have heard it saying something.
Maybe, yeah. The one that freaks me out is that cat bird. It just sounds like a cat. Yeah, you know. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Nowadays, I can't tell if it's a crow outside or if it's an Amazon van backing up. And like, I'm like, I don't know what that is. Maybe it's a crow. Maybe it's a delivery.
There's a lot of deliveries going on too. Holy smokes.
Yeah. They got their own little thing going on. You know, I think there might be some big things in the future for that Amazon company that, you know.
We'd all only known that we bought the stock, right?
I had the Amazon stock. Man, I had Amazon stock when it was, what was it? It was 42. And I had Netflix stock when it was 12.
Wow.
And I sold Netflix when it hit 19, and I sold Amazon when it hit 80. And I was like, that's great, you know, cool.
Yeah, made some money.
If I had just held on like 5 or 6 more years.
Yeah. Hindsight's always 2020, you know?
Yeah. Crazy. But yeah, man, as far as this book goes, were you thinking at all, either before you created this or during the process of creating it, have you thought at all of actually adapting one of the stories or more of the stories to a straight up comic format?
Yeah, in retrospect, I mean, the reason I didn't go that route is because we have there's been so many adaptions done as it is, you know. You mentioned the Richard Corbin one. But there's been, I mean, and maybe you have to be in the know to know this, but I mean, there's just been a lot of them. One of the things that motivated me too to make this is the fact that I read a couple of, I bought a more recent book that was inspired by or whatever by Poe, and I visibly got angry reading it. So I'm like, what is this? You know? So I'm like, I got to get something out there that's not like this. So
what book was it? Do you want to say?
I'd rather not say. It was another independent company, but
okay. Around what time period? What year?
I read it probably a couple years ago. So people can probably put the puzzle together, but
interesting.
I don't want to diss anybody because, hey, you know, you do your thing. I'm just going to do my thing, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've said it before on the show. There's a lot of crap out there. You know, most comics that get made are crap. Like, it's just to be very blunt about it.
I've heard this. It's still funny, even though I've heard you say it before.
And you know, I'm sure when I look back, most of the stuff I've been involved in, I'll be like, yeah, that was crap. But it's just statistically, it just is what it is. If all of it was great, or the majority, or even most of it, or even half of it,
yeah,
it'd be a very different timeline. But I mean, I think my point is proven when you go into a comic shop, and I love digging in the back issue bins, you know, but most of the stuff there is pretty bad. It just is, you know. But it's like that with everything. Most of the stuff that gets made creatively is pretty bad. But sometimes you get some greatness as a result of pressing forward, and you learn from it and whatever. Because a lot of creators that are great will have some pretty crappy comics, you
Yeah.
know,
Yep.
and it's just like everything else, you know. Even you can even talk about athletes, you know, you hit your prime and they got like those years, but maybe before and maybe after, they're not so great. You know, but
Right.
it's like that with everything. So it's like I
Yep.
don't really say it as far as a judgment call in terms of, you know, don't make stuff, but it's more just understand, like when people get down on themselves about stuff and or they get like these crazy expectations for themselves, like just know most of the stuff that gets made is crap. So don't worry about it. Don't be so hard on yourself.
Well, I can tell you too that like I spent 4 or 5 years, and I'm still doing it now, but not as heavily as I was doing board game design. And the only way to get good at board game design is to make a bunch of really crappy games.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously.
You're
Yeah.
like, wow, that was a really great idea. That didn't work. Okay, on to the next.
Yep.
And so, and
It's like that with
I,
everything.
yeah, I can't tell you how many games I've designed, but out of all the ones I've designed, I've got 2 that I think I might be able to market. So it's and the big thing, I think that was one of the things too, is that I was using that as a creative outlet. So I wasn't really doing a lot of writing at that time, but I was still creating, and I was coming up with whatever themes and storylines and stuff for these games. So I could come up with some really great themes, and then you try to put it all together. I'm like, well, this doesn't work, and that doesn't work. So it's
Yeah.
like,
And now, I mean, you get the added, it's not benefit, but whatever the hell the opposite of benefit would be. It escapes my mind right now, but you get the added deterrent of creation, which is, you know, things like copyright and trademark and all that other stuff, which I think is kind of making people paint themselves into a corner, because eventually, like, there only are so many kinds of stories, there only are so many kinds of characters. Sure, you can make something original, but is it any good? That's like a
right? Doesn't
different
suck,
conversation.
right?
I mean, imagine if they had the copyright type laws and the litigious nature of corporations, if they had that for like the past 2,000 years. I mean, someone along the way would have copywritten mythology and religion and
Yep,
everything. You
yep,
know what I mean? And
yep.
you'd be looking at creatively not a whole hell of a lot you could do without someone, you know, suing you into the ground.
Right. Yeah.
So it really is, and I know there's public domain, but like there's only so much you can do, because even though copyright eventually will fall into public domain, trademark might never fall into public domain. So it's like you still maybe can't market that effectively, because you can't actually use those words to market the product on the
Yeah.
product. So there's like all kinds of different things involved that just creatively, I think it's making things pretty weird. And I think that's a big part too of what's causing a lot of this like constant remake, reboot, retcon kind of creative culture where it feels like we're stagnating,
Yeah.
because you know you don't want to create something that maybe is too similar to something or whatever it might be. You know, all I could think is music. Like there's only so many notes, there's only so many kinds of beats, there's only, you know, eventually you're going to devolve that thing into just it's noise. And there's a
Yep.
lot of music now that's it's kind of just noise. It's just sounds being made because I think we've devolved it so much because of copyright.
Yeah.
But
It's sad. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I just think about somebody went to Nikki Sixx from Motley Crue and like, hey, this guy totally ripped off your song, and he like told him what song it was, and he listened to it. And he's like, yeah, he's doing, you know, the same thing I did, which I ripped off Mott the Hoople, and he ripped off somebody else.
yeah,
It's just
yeah,
like, it's just the way it is.
yeah,
They're
exactly.
doing their own version of it.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what a lot of some really great stuff is. It's if you cut it up, you're like, yeah, well, that's like this with this, and then you just put like
Yeah.
this twist on it, or put it in that genre, or that time period, and it's like the same story. Yeah, well, that's just how a lot of stuff is. But yeah, man, it's funny how that goes. It just it comes about. But I think if you've got something that you really want to adapt, you know, and you think you can kind of put a cool twist on it, or you see an artist that you're just like, man, I gotta have them do this story, you know, yeah, go
I
for it.
I have to say, like, all these guys I worked with were all amazing, and it was, um, I don't remember there was nobody that was like difficult to work with or anything, or like this is the way I mean, everybody was awesome. And I was like, for example, like Christian, I'm like, this guy's probably super busy, but I'll reach out to him. And going back to, I don't want to lose my train of thought here, but going back to, um, I mentioned like a lot of the guys, were or are associated with Alterna. And part of what I'm doing here, I kind of got inspiration from you because you're like, okay, I'm doing King Cryptid. I'm going to have 4 different artists do 4 different issues, and that way I can get more stuff out. And I'm like, if I can do that, something similar where I get a bunch of artists doing, I don't want anybody that's like really crazy different from each other, but um, I want the same feel. I think I had said that to you before. You did that one horror anthology book, If I think it was
Oh yeah.
a thick one, and even though you had a whole bunch of different teams on that, it still felt kind of cohesive.
Hmm.
It wasn't anything that was like really out there that were like, because I've read other ones where I'm like, one's like Mike Mignola and another one's like Bruce Timm, and it didn't make, maybe that's not a good example, but looked more like a kid's comic compared to, and it just didn't seem to go together. But um, but
Yeah,
anyway,
that's kind of the challenge with anthology stuff. You want to have that consistency, but you also don't want it to all be like this flat kind of
right,
thing.
yep,
You want to have
yeah,
some of these
and
stories that
so
are peaks and valleys, and make sure you don't put similar stories back to back and that kind of a
right,
thing.
right, yep, and that's why I wanted the same colorist throughout the book to kind of give it some cohesion as well. So,
Yeah, that's
but
smart.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
getting that same colorist to be a part of it, that brings in a cohesive element, even if you got different artists involved.
yep.
Yeah, it's not easy, but it seems like you're having fun with it. Would
Oh,
you say
absolutely.
that? Okay, you would say that you
Yeah,
are good.
if I could not do all the business crap that's associated with it all,
Oh
I'd
yeah,
love it.
the funnest part is making the comic.
Yep.
Everyone that's always just let me put it this way for anyone who's watching that maybe is a creator or thinking about it. If you think like making the comic is the hardest, worst part, just do something else with your life because that's the best part. That's the
Yeah.
best part. Everything else sucks. So if you can't enjoy the actual thing of making it, and you're struggling with it and you hate it and you're really frustrated and
Yeah,
it's
don't bother.
no fun and you don't like it, but you think like, "Ah, if I just stick, I'll like it." No, just
I
life is too short. Do something else.
Yeah. I will tell you the only reason I don't have the second volume done is just, money. It's just, having the money to get more artists and get it rolling. Um, all I was looking for with this campaign is to get enough to like print the book, get it out, and have a little bit to start rolling into the next one. So, but the next one you had asked me about the next one, expanding it or whatever. And the next one, I'm going to do an 8-page story. So instead of a 1 page and a 1 page, I'm going to do like kind of an intro, but a story as well. So it's going to have 4 pages in the front, 4 pages in the back. And then I'll do more of the same of this. Maybe I'll include more. Like if I do the Raven, I'll include the whole Raven, and maybe that'll have 2 illustrations or something like that. But
yeah, there's a way you could do that.
Yeah,
that'd be nice.
I liked the idea of the book being consistent. So I had the comic page. You open it up, it has the text page, it has the art page. You flip it again, it has the text page, it has the art page. So
yeah, you gotta do it like that. I think it gets a little weird if you don't have at least the story. Even if you wanted to have like 3 illustrations, so it's like story, and then art, and then
Yeah.
story, and then So even if you want to have like a story and then 3 illustrations, it's got to still be like the story's got to be on the left side. You can't start all of a sudden having that bouncing around all over the place.
Yeah, it just seemed weird.
Yeah, it's gonna look really, really wrong.
But at least, I feel like I got a decent template going forward, and I feel like other than, money, I think I could get one of these done in like 6 months, as long as I can get the guys on board and pay them. And that, that's the other thing too. Everybody that's worked on this book has been paid, so, I feel good about that. And I feel good about the fact that the book is also pretty much done. The only thing I'm waiting on right now, which I have a meeting tomorrow with Jim Whitting, who, like I said, he worked on like the graphic design, and he also did one of the illustrations in there. But we're going to talk about it. But it's basically, I did an art contest, so the guy that won his illustration is going to be the inside back cover. So we just have to add that, and then we're off to the races. So
nice. And of all the Poe stories that you have in this one, which one's your favorite?
Oh, so I mean, it's so hard. But
which one do you really like?
It's probably Cask of Amontillado is like my all-time. I mean, did you mention that too?
Yeah. Pit and the Pendulum and Cask of Amontillado are my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, Mask of the Red Death is probably second. I think about that a lot, but
I thought about that a lot during COVID.
Yeah, right. I also think about the movie too, which is probably one of the best adaptions. But if you like, I tell everybody this every stream I'm on. I think I mentioned this, but there's a YouTube channel, Poe Movies, and they do Cask of Amontillado, and it's amazing. It's like the best version of a Cask of Amontillado. There's been a few, and they're okay, but just the visceral feelings that these two characters have are just amazing. And it's like 20 minutes long, so it won't take you all afternoon to watch it, so
no, that one's really up there for me. That's a good one. Yeah. Is that why you felt like you had to include that on this first one?
Yeah.
Or you didn't include some of the other heavy hitters?
Yeah, it's like the Telltale Heart. I have a hard time really coming up with a good illustration in my head of how to represent that story. There's been some good adaptions of it. Maybe that's the route to go on that one. But yeah, I knew, like I said, I knew Cask of Amontillado and
you could always, if it had to be like one illustration, I would picture somebody maybe like on their knees, like screaming to the sky, and there's like a floorboard removed, and you don't see inside the floorboard, that kind of a thing, and people around them being like,
yeah.
Oh, thank you, Chris Six String says, I love Hop Frog. I'll be backing for sure.
Thank you. Yeah, Hop Frog will definitely be in the next one. And for those that don't know, if you watch the Mask of the Red Death with Vincent Price, the Roger Corman movie, they took Mask Death and Hop Frog and mixed them together and made that movie, and it worked so well together, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
There
if you
hasn't really
haven't checked
been
it out,
a
you should.
I can't think of one anyway. Has there been like a Poe universe type miniseries or something like that ever made?
There's been series where this is one of the things that I don't really like, and maybe I'm weird, but a lot of people when they do like Poe adaptions or things with Poe, the narrator is Poe. And I'm like, he never intended for the narrator to be him, you know? So to me, it's silly. So, but there has been like these, Edgar Allan Poe adventurer or something like that, things like that. I've read some of them, they are what they are. I mean, I don't hate them. I don't seek them out. I did
Yeah.
see there was one recently done that looked pretty decent. I can't even remember the publisher. I think they actually had like 3 issues of it out, but that looked okay. But I haven't checked it out. But that was one of at the end of the trailer. It says no apologies, and I feel like that I wanted to make that point too, that this is Poe for 95% Poe, and I don't want to reimagine it for a modern audience. I just
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear you.
every adaptation I've ever seen or whatever. I mean, I've listened to like old radio shows and watched movie
Lots
adaptions,
of good
and
Poe stuff of that. Yeah.
yeah, but no matter how good it is, I just feel like the original is always better. But I will give credit though, because the I the Never Bet the Devil Your Head, that's a story I'd never read.
Hmm.
Thing that got me to read it was an old radio show that they had done of that, and it was excellent. If you don't know that story, which most people don't, it's one of Poe's funny stories. It's a satire. So, and I
And you
thought it
have
was
that in the
important.
book, right? That's the
Yeah,
one with Preston does the
yeah,
art.
Preston. That, yeah, yep, yep,
It
for
kind of
sure.
reminds me too, looking at the pages you were showing, it reminds me of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Remember that?
Yep.
Yeah. That
Oh,
big
I'm sorry.
influence on me as a kid.
Yeah, I would say besides like classic writers, well, I don't know. I think about this all the time, but like obviously Poe's an influence on me. Ray Bradbury would be one.
Mm.
Um, I'm trying to think of other, but definitely those old anthology shows were like uh, the Twilight Zone and Tales from the Dark Side and all that stuff. I just loved it. I can still watch them.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to show. This is the Rob Geronimo page. Unfortunately, I don't think I can get it. Well, I can get it all. There it is, all its glory, exclusively here.
Very nice. I would not have guessed that that was the page based on that little thumbnail square that you
Yep,
showed on the campaign.
yep. So I love that. But I read the story, or reread it, and I'm like, I think Rob would do an awesome job with this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he totally did.
Very nice. So that was an exclusive for this stream.
Yep. Yep.
Hell
I'm not going
yeah.
to show it again. So if anybody wants to see it, they got to tune into this show.
Very nice,
Too bad
man.
Rob's not here.
That's awesome. Wow.
I guess Rob has been super busy.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's a busy dude. He teaches too, so I'm sure
Yeah.
that plays a big part into his schedule. But yeah, man, that's great. So before we part ways, anything else you wanted to mention? Anything else you want to direct people to?
You can find me mostly on X, Dr. Mask. Instagram Dr. Mask, eBay Dr. Mask, anything. I don't know if you're going to come across another Dr. Mask. The only one I've ever discovered is on YouTube, who is a chiropractor. So
is it spelt that way? SQUE?
I don't remember. But when I was looking at the name, I'm like, who is this guy? And it was a guy, it was almost like he wanted to do videos showing people how to like do physical therapy, but he didn't want his identity to be known. So he would wear different, like a stormtrooper mask or something,
It's totally trustworthy, it seems like.
Nothing to see here. But speaking of that, but
I mean, when you have to have someone rearrange your spine, you want them dressed so that you can't tell who the hell they are.
That's right. That's right. I used to go to chiropractors, and then the one guy, he would do like this really aggressive stuff, and I'm like, you know what? Peace out, dude. I'm done. I feel like he's gonna twist my neck, and I'm gonna be paralyzed.
Sometimes it feels like chiropractic. I don't know if that's the word, but that it's like a make 'em up thing for failed professional wrestlers. It's like, because most of the people I've ever talked to that have gone to a chiropractor talk about how the problem is now worse than it was before.
I hear people say they do. I mean, and for the most part, I felt better like the day after or whatever. I might be a little sore. And I think it helped a little bit, but then the problem isn't in my opinion, don't take advice from me, even though I have doctor in my name. But in my opinion, it's not the bones or the joints, it's your muscles and tendons that are pulling on them because you are not having proper posture, or you're not exercising, or you're not stretching, or whatever,
Yeah.
That's causing it all. So
yeah.
But what do I know?
I don't know. All I gotta say is I just go on anecdotal evidence of most people being like, yeah, I went to that guy and man, it's been bad.
That's not good.
Oh,
but anyway,
that's crazy though.
Pretty much anywhere you find Dr. Mask, you'll find it's me. So I do have a website too, drmask.com. Right now it's just a sign up. But once I get something to actually sell, then we'll have something there about.
All right. Well, sounds good. Thank you so much for stopping by, Mark.
Well, thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.
I love it.
And yeah, man, this was a lot of fun. So I'm glad that you reached out and we got this going. Everybody check it out. It's Besprinkled with Scarlet is on Fund My Comic. The link is in the description of the show. It's also at the top of the chat, or it should be at the top of the chat. And it's only got how many days left?
17, I think.
17. Does that say
16?
16. All right.
Yep. That coupon code is good until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. So.
Oh, okay. So yeah, get on it. That was what, News P?
Yep, for newsprint. Yep.
Okay, so News P, and you save $4 off of any tier that has the newsprint edition.
Yep, you got it.
All right. You got 20 backers on board, and you got 56% raise. What happens if you don't reach the goal?
My plan at this point is I'm gonna maybe in a couple of weeks, I'm gonna launch a Kickstarter.
Okay.
2 or 3 weeks. So, and see if we can, get the rest there or not. Either way, I'm assuming I'm going to print this book. There's nothing going to keep me from doing that. So
don't say that. He's not printing the book unless you guys back it.
That's right.
So you got to back it. Only 16 days left. There's no Kickstarter. There's no Indiegogo. There's no tomorrow.
I should have talked to my.
That's it.
I should have talked to my hype man before this. Jeez.
Yeah. That's what you say like on the last day of the last hour when you're like 500 away still, and you're like, yeah, maybe we would do this on some other thing. So back it on Fund My Comic. Don't
we'll
have
tissue
this
paper.
It's a pain in the ass to set up a crowdfunder. I've set up a lot. I know. So don't make this poor dude
It
go and
is.
do a Kickstarter
It's
or,
just
oh, for heaven forbid, if
it's a
he gets
time
desperate
suck.
enough to go to that horrible thing called Indiegogo now. Indiegogo is so bad now. It's a nightmare.
Now that's out.
Yeah,
That one's out.
let him just do this Fund My Comic. If you want it, back it on there and be done with it. That's it. Walk away. And then you get your book in a couple months or whatever. And
right.
Yeah.
And we love Luke Stone too. So that's another reason to do it.
Oh man. Crowdfunding nowadays, everything nowadays is just a jumbled, complicated mess of people fixing what isn't broke, it feels like.
Yeah.
So yes, you got 16 days, you got a little over 2 weeks left on the campaign. You're more than halfway there, so you definitely have time to reach the goal, and hopefully you do.
Yep. Stop by and pick up that original piece by Preston, you know?
Yeah. That'll help out a lot, right? That's a $400 tier. Man. So yeah. Thank you so much, Mark, for stopping by. Everybody go check the campaign out. I'll be on the I'll probably simulcast the stream to this channel and to the alternate channel on Friday for that Unit 44 last 2 issues, 11 and 12, for that launch for the pre-order. But until then, I'll see you, and hope everybody takes care. And Mark, thank you once again for stopping by.
Thank you.
And everybody have a wonderful night. And hey, Stato. So I might just be popping in late, but I wanted to say hello, all. Hey, Stato, good to see you, man. Hope you're doing good. Everybody have a wonderful night and an even better tomorrow. We'll see you soon. Take it easy and all the best.